morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody? Welcome to another episode of Roll Around, Find Out. Before I get too deep into anything, just a heads up, I am recovering from a 24-hour bug, a little 24-hour flu virusy type thing, so I was in the mood to record, but physically I am not 100%. So I probably sound a little down, a little more nose sniffles than normal. That is why. So I apologize for that. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about things I've been into lately, things I've been checking out. The main bulk of this will be on Fantasy Age 2nd edition. I saw that today they released a free quick start of the 2nd edition, and I wanted to go over it. And I can't say this is a hodgepodge episode because that will be the main focus, but just gonna have an elongated, extended intro to the episode here. So, a couple weeks ago, my son wanted to watch the new Wonka movie. And in order to watch it, I went on Amazon and I saw, okay, I had to get an HBO Max account. Okay, well, I don't have HBO Max, but there was a 1-week free trial, so sure, perfect. And the main actor in Wonka, Timothée Chalamet, I think is how you pronounce it, is also in Dune. And I am not a Dune book reader, but I remember it was a pretty big deal when it came out, and I think it came out 2021, so like 2-3 years ago. But I knew there was going to be a part 2, and part 2 just came out. And so I think I remember saying to myself, well, I'll just wait until part 2 comes out. And I forgot all about it. Part 2's out. Now I got all excited. So we watched Wonka. And then either that night or the next couple days, I turned Dune on. And I knew nothing about Dune going into it. So my impressions of it and thoughts on it were, it's pretty good. I don't think a lot really happened. The movie aspect of it was gorgeous. The cinematography was just perfect. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, well, maybe in part 2 they'll really amp it up. Like, people think A New Hope is good, but Empire Strikes Back is better. I used to think that too, but now I think New Hope is the best of any Star Wars movie, save maybe Rogue One, maybe. Anyways, so I'm a super, super casual when it comes to Dune. In the research I've done, it seems like the movies 1 and 2 are pretty accurate to the book. Make a couple liberties here and there, but after researching things, not getting into the extended universe of Dune, I think there's 6 books by the original author and then lengthy, I'll say expansions, that's not the right word, but if I had to sum it up, I would say Dune is here we go. Dune is Dances with Wolves in space. The main actor, Timothée Chalamet, Paul, main actor, character named Paul, rich family, gets exiled, joins the local natives, learns their ways, befriends them, doesn't marry one, but it's heavily implied. I mean, clearly stated they love each other. And then, spoiler alert, I guess, but in the last like 10 minutes of part 2, I was like, what the hell is going on? Why is he choosing the Emperor's daughter? I don't, if he's so powerful, if he's got all these visions, why doesn't he just kill the Emperor and kill all of those? And then they said, well, the 5 houses, these other powerful families, would probably have issue with that. And then I got thinking, you know what? Dune was written however long ago, and I guess I'm just spoiled by the things that have been built on top of it, mainly Game of Thrones. Haven't read Game of Thrones. I'm not a book reader. Call me what you want. But at least the first, what was it, 3 or 4 seasons of Game of Thrones were just perfect. And all the different families, Starks, Targaryens, the others, the White Walkers, they all have distinct characteristics, motivations, etc. Dune was just, okay, well, there's this family that's going to replace this other family in control of the spice, the most rare and valuable resource in the galaxy. Okay, kind of cool that it was a plot twist that the Emperor thought that this family, Paul's family Atreides, was becoming too powerful and could have potentially fought for his seat as the Emperor. So the original family that was running it got kicked out, only to come back in a secret attack. That was cool. And let me look this up. Dune houses, because the only other one mentioned, Harkonnen. Yeah, Dune, Harkonnen. These guys, like, looked super cool. The Atreides were like your average vanilla, like, knights in shining armor, sort of, kind of. The Harkonnens reminded me of the Empire in Star Wars, and just the black and how weird they were. Like, Vader, especially for the time, like, he's scary. And so this head guy, I thought, just did an awesome job. The aesthetics of it, super cool. And that's what got me thinking, this actor was weird, but like this guy in the back, if you know Magic the Gathering, it was kind of like a Praetor. Super cool. And so that's why I was kind of spoiled with Game of Thrones. Like, you're just giving me the surface level. If I have to get, and I forget exactly how long part 2 was, but it just dragged on. So many parts could have been cut minutes shorter and made the whole movie so much tighter. So being spoiled by Game of Thrones, at the end of the day, I give Dune Part 1 and Part 2 a C+. Not an original story. Okay, cool. Spice, I guess, is a cool thing, but insert power, insert money, insert whatever instead of spice. It's a common trope. Again, cinematography, A+. Gorgeous movie. Absolutely gorgeous movie. but I don't care to see him again. I wish it would have been like a how would I say this? A compilation of sorts of if you took like the first 6 books and put them in maybe 3 movies, that would be cool. Probably my second favorite part, because these Harkonnens were cool, but then the Bene Gesserits were very cool. I did watch the original movie, and to me, I guess maybe it was being truthful to the book, but there were many lines. Well, here, I'll actually say this. Part 1, the remake, is almost a shot-for-shot recreation of the old movie. There's a couple of other things, and like the Harkonnens have red hair and like red mouths with a side effect of the spice, I think. But kind of jumping all over the place here. The Bene Gesserits were very cool, but I was confused in that they're this like powerful organization, sort of kind of secretive, sort of kind of not. I mean, the Emperor has one to help him, like when he's talking with people, to know if he's being lied to or not. But then he's smart for that, but dumb in that he doesn't realize that they have like alternative motives and that they're sowing the seeds to like overthrow him. Weird. It was weird. The coolest thing I took away from the Bene Gesserits was that they are going or have gone to all of these planets and like starting religions, fake religions. So if some reason they have some reason to go to this planet again, they can like go back and say, oh, on this planet we said that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man was going to show up and become your leader. So in the Bene Gesserit's plan, they will, when the time is right, have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man show up and then start doing the things that they want them to do. So I thought that was really, really cool. I think if you disconnected them from Dune and you just did their own Ben Gesserit movie, I think that would have been super, super cool. All right, that's my 2 thoughts on Dune. Okay, this also popped up on a drive-through RPG today. I never played, well, I for maybe like literally 5 minutes, the very, very popular, still going on today, MMO RuneScape. They have they came out with a tabletop game. It's a 3D6 game. I think the book is 250-ish pages. This picture alone here, I think, is just great. I'm, again, very casual RuneScape follower. There's like RuneScape and then old school RuneScape and RuneScape 3. And I think the old school is what fans really like. And I think this gives the old school vibes. Let's see, I don't have the tab open. I was thinking about buying the PDF, but it's $20. Okay, so if I'm going to spend $20 for a PDF, how much is the book? Okay, the book is $40 plus about $20 shipping, which is insane. So I said $20, maybe $40 for the book, plus let's say $50, $60. Probably never going to bring it to my table. Probably not. But then I went to the actual, let's see if I can find it quickly. I went to the actual page website of Steam Forged games. And I always find this interesting. Let's see if I remember. It was under coming soon, but it's out now. Role-playing game. It's always pretty brave to put a review system on your website, no matter the product that you have, because you don't know what people are going to say. And so here we go. 13 reviews. I was reading these before, and people have good things to say about it, but then a lot of people have said there's a lot of typos and a lot of issues where, like, a really powerful armor is cheaper than like a mid-power armor. And a lot of inconsistencies, I guess, is the takeaway from this. And so I thought, for $60, $50-$60 for a book, no way. And somewhere in here in these reviews, they said that the author is going to come out with an errata fixing all the changes. And I thought, well, I'm definitely not going to buy a book if they've already said they're coming out with changes. I guess maybe the PDF, because then you'll get the updated version, I assume, for free. Even though I never really played it, this was a nostalgia. It would have been a nostalgia purchase for me, but I don't think it's for me. I actually got excited for the 3D6 system, and apparently there's a good crafting system. So if this was $5, definitely I'd buy it. $10, maybe. 20, I don't think so. But if it's your jam and you heard about it from me, great, check it out. Maybe it's for you. Here we go. 217 pages. Okay. I do want to show the character sheet, though. RuneScape Kingdoms. It's a interesting character sheet. Name, background, catalyst, motivation, life points, and then I believe for summoning or magic, it's prayer points and summoning points. There's those are essentially schools of magic. 3 stats: strength, agility, intellect. I think those are always like the minimum 3. And then here for armor: head, cape, ammo, body, weapon, offhand, and legs. So I've often wished that there was a TTRPG that had a system like this where it was all pieced together. D&D 5e is just leather armor, splint armor, chain. You know, who's to say you don't want like splint armor but a leather helmet? And you can obviously homebrew it however you want. A helmet is 1 AC, gauntlets are 1 AC, boots are 1 AC, but I don't think that's in like the core rules. And I get it. That makes it more complicated. It's one more step. You don't need to have that. But I don't see it all everywhere. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's going to lead me into the next conversation on Diablo. But then I really liked all of these skill systems. And because it's a 3D6 system, I can only imagine that however you start out with, let's say, 5 skills that you're good at, you can roll 1d6 for a skill, and then you level up and it becomes 2d6, etc., etc. And so I like all these skill systems, or skill options, I should say, rather than just upping your stats, which, you know, we do have stats here. But I like, it kind of reminds me of one of my original reasons for liking Mithras was that it was skills based. One thing I like about Mothership is it has that skill tree. You level up your skills, and I think that's how you can really personalize your character. When you give them all of these options rather than just like broad strength. Ooh, I'm strong, so now I can do A through Z things that require strength. Here are, I am a master at crafting. I am a master at farming. Okay? Crafting and farming, well, you probably don't need strength. You probably don't need agility, but probably need intellect, know how to craft and know how to farm. And so, 5th edition, you just up your intellect and now you can do both of those. But those seem like pretty distinct skills to learn. So they shouldn't fall under the same umbrella. So bring the price down, put it on sale, I'll check it out. Or if you are if you are Steam Forged Games Limited and you want to give me a review copy, I'd be happy to review it. Okay, so next one, I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but in college, I had a friend got me hooked on Diablo 2. I spent so many hours on Diablo 2. In one of my episodes, I think it was Video Game Influences, I talked about Diablo. And I'd love to see a system kind of like RuneScape here, where it was different parts of the armor. And if you got a specific set where you got gauntlets, boots, and hat of some wizard, then you got buffs and bonuses to your stats. Kind of like Omega Fantasy 2, which I have mentioned it in almost every episode of late. I really like that. I think the things that you have that you carry should give you more abilities rather than just, okay, well, here's my sword and it does this damage. Hey, I have this sword, it does this damage, and when I crit, this is how it crits. And then because it's this type of sword, my attack does bleeding damage. Like, there's slashing and piercing, but let's be honest, that really doesn't matter for anything. But in Omega Fantasy 2, it does. So that's cool. All right. So more on Diablo. I don't know. It just says that it's coming out in 2024. There was some survey I filled out. I signed up, and I had said that the gear is what I'm really excited about. That in order to get a Diablo experience, it's diving into a dungeon to get sweet gear and keeping hell from spilling over into the world. So if Diablo is your jam, check this out, sign up, get notified. I can almost guarantee that I'm gonna buy this, even if I never take it to my table. I just love Diablo that much. But it depends on the system. If it's a D20 roll high, probably pass. Though I did watch something or read something that said it was going to be its own unique system. So there's that. All right. Okay. Almost at Fantasy Age Quick Start here. Many years ago, I was obsessed with the show Tabletop with your host, Will Wheaton. And if you've never seen an episode, go do yourself a favor and go binge watch every episode of Tabletop from Geek and Sundry. It's where Critical Role started. I don't think they're on Geek and Sundry anymore. I'm almost positive they're their own thing. And one of my favorites was Dragon Age, and I watched this before I ever thought I would ever get interested in D&D. I thought it was super cool. Let me see if I can click on this here, get you a little taste. So Sam Witwer, which is a massively popular Star Wars guy, he voices Darth Maul. I think this is Chris Hardwick. No. This is Kevin Sussman, and he's super funny. Let's see. This is Chris Hardwick. I believe he's the author. Or maybe I'm getting it wrong. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no. Now I'm just sounding like an idiot, which, spoiler alert, I am. This is Chris Hardwick from Nerdist. Funny guy. This guy, Kevin Sussman, super funny. Sam Witwer, also funny, but his character's even funnier. 11 years ago, I can't believe it. Wow, I'm old. Amazing episode. So what they're playing Dragon Age, and I don't think I made the connection at the time that, oh, this is like Dungeons and Dragons. Like I've played Magic the Gathering forever. Dungeons and Dragons, like, yeah, I kind of knew what it was, never on my radar. And I just thought this was super cool. You're playing a story and rolling dice. It just really appealed to me. But nobody I knew at the time played Dungeons and Dragons. Nobody I knew would be interested in it. So it was just, I just lived and enjoyed this vicariously through them. And so Dragon Age is a video game which I never played, but this is what they were promoting. And now I think they just re-released it on Amazon, and maybe I'll purchase it. I'm not sure. They do have a quick start version, which I'm gonna go off on a tangent about quick start versions here, but they have no, back it up. Another pretty cool thing, I think, is that the people that make Dragon Age, Green Ronin Publishing, release the story that they played for free. 18 pages, free adventure. I love it. So again, go check out Tabletop. Watch the Dragon Age ones. Watch all of them. There's another one where I think it's called Dread, where I think Dread is out of print. I think you can still get the PDF. Dread right here. And rather than rolling dice, yeah, look at the 167 ratings, so it's popular. $96, $12. Instead of using dice, you use a Jenga game. And rather than rolling dice, you have to pull a block. Super creative. Really like that. Okay. Tabletop's amazing. Okay, this happens all the time. I get excited, I get flustered. I'll calm down. Okay. Whew. All right. So, Dragon Age by Green Ronin Publishing. Author Chris Pramis, which I got confused with Chris Hardwick. Chris Pramis is the author. Okay. So, this is based on a video game, but for a more generic setting, they came out with Fantasy Age. Fantasy Age got a second edition. And here's the quick start that I want to go over. All right, Fantasy Age Quick Start, second edition. We're talking about pros and cons, but at the end of the day, I think this is worth checking out. All right. So, definitely not going to read over all of this, but this is 37 pages of free content. Now, back it up a little bit here. I don't know why. I'm just weird. Maybe I'm inherently ignorant. I don't know. But I used to be pretty on quick start guides. I just thought, well, if I'm interested enough to buy the quick start guide for $20, let's say, why don't I just put that towards the actual game, the real book, so I'm not like sort of kind of buying things twice. So a good example, if I go to Amazon, this is probably what spoiled it for me, actually. Call of Cthulhu starter set. So I bought this one. It's on my bookshelf. Maybe I'll do an episode on it. I think I mentioned that I would because there's a solo adventure in there. And I don't remember what I paid. I think it was about $20. And so again, I thought to myself, like, well, if I'm spending $20, why don't I just get the actual books? But the actual books are, you know, if you get the full set, Call of Cthulhu set, RPG set. Okay, well, it's $43 for this. The, what do they call this? The Keeper's Rulebook, and then there's the Player's Rulebook. You're probably looking at $80 to $100 for a set, which is fine. For D&D, you need to get, you know, Monster Manual. Well, you don't need to, but Monster Manual, Player's Guide, Monster and Dungeon Master's Guide, Player's Handbook, and oh my god, my brain is fried right now. Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. But I think it was probably Dragonbane where I thought to myself, you know what? I should be checking these out. Just dabble in, and even better if they're free. Just get your head out of your butt and check them out. That's like the best way to figure out if it's your jam or not. Now, for Fantasy Age, I think it is limited. Like, we're going to talk about the stunts, and I think they don't give you all the stunts, or they're like generic stunts. But again, it's meant to be, hey, look at me, let's see if you like this. It's not, hey, here's the game, just like a shorter, smaller version of it. It's give you just a little taste. So if you're listening to this, you're like, yeah, Heath, obviously it's, but I don't know. I'm weird sometimes. Okay, so all of these games, Fantasy Age, Dragon Age, they have Modern Age. It uses the Age system, which is the adventure game engine. It's 3d6. How the game works, you roll 3d6, and then you add your stat, and you try to roll over a number. When you roll, if you get doubles, you earn stunt points. So notice here we've got 2 white dice and 1 black dice. You've got 2 white dice and a black dice here. And how stunting works is, let's say you roll like they have here, 1, 2, 3. Nothing happens. You add it up. It would be 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6 plus a stat, let's say 8. Okay? Same thing here. They have 4, 5, 6, but let's pretend that this one is a 5. You've got 5, 5, and 6. So while you add them up, that might be 16 plus your stat of, let's say, plus 2 would be 18. Because you have 2 5s, it doesn't matter of the 3 dice you have, it doesn't matter what dice pair, as long as you have a pair, you get stunt points. Think of this as like critting. Instead of rolling a d20 of 5%, you have much more frequent chance of critting, which is, I think, awesome. And so if you have a 5, and a 6, whatever your stunt dice is, that's the one dice that's a different color, that's how many stunt points you get. So if you had a 3, and, well, you know what, they give you examples here, and so I'll show you those. There are a lot of ability scores. I think it's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. Accuracy, communication, constitution, dexterity, fighting, intelligence, perception, strength, and willpower. One thing that I like is that we have fighting as its own stat. Fighting and strength usually get lumped together, but that doesn't necessarily make sense. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you're good at fighting. I mean, don't get me wrong, it obviously helps, but it should be separate. And then it kind of got me thinking, a lot of D100 systems use this, I think Mithras does, where like, oh, okay, if you're fighting, but you are using short knives, then you should use fighting plus dexterity. If you're fighting with a bow, you should use fighting plus accuracy. So I think I'd like to see, or come up with, some system that has a lot of skills or abilities, but they get combined for certain situations. So let's say we have 9 here, and potentially could have 18, 27 different ways to combine them. I think that would be allow for good character customization. Okay, artwork here. This, I'll say the art is hit or miss for me. I think this one hits the mark. I think it's really modern, really well done. Okay, I was confused on this one, so I'm going to read this one. Some abilities have one or more words in their box. These are focuses, areas of expertise that fall under that ability. So we have 9 abilities, and I'll just read this last one. Willpower measures self-control, self-discipline, mental fortitude, and confidence. And the range here is from -2 to 4. So you either add or subtract those to your dice. Okay, so some abilities have one or more words in their box. These are focuses, areas of expertise that fall under that ability. Focuses are generally self-explanatory. For example, characters with the persuasion focus are especially good at using their communication ability to persuade someone. A little confusing. Persuasion focus on their communication ability. So here's communication, and part of communication there is persuasion. Okay, got it. I guess it's not that confusing. Seeing this chart helps. It's important to note, however, that characters don't usually need to have a focus in order to try something. A focus is just an added benefit for characters with special aptitude or training. For example, characters with the persuasion focus can still try to persuade people. Characters without the persuasion focus can still try to persuade people, They simply use their communication score without any added bonus. Okay, I understand it now. It is like proficiency in D&D. So if your accuracy stat is, let's say, 1, so you roll your dice, you add 1 for your accuracy, but your accuracy happens to be using a light blade, then you get to add more to that. I think later in the rules they'll say, well, you have to pick one. You either use accuracy or light blades, whichever one is higher, I think. So we'll see if we can find that. Okay, this art here, this is like 1995 called. Maybe 1997 called. Not quite a fan of that. Okay, Ancestry. You can play as a Drake. These guys look cool. I like this art here. Tall, scaly, dragon-like humanoids. They tend to be strong and willful and possess qualities like magic resistance or the ability to breathe fire as a special stunt. So I like that. We'll see if other races get special stunts. You can play a dwarf, an elf, a gnome, a goblin, a halfling, and a human. Oh, and an orc. And a wild folk. What's a wild folk? Are creatures of fairy combining human-like features with the physical and personality traits of one broad class of animal. Elves, humans, orcs, wild folk. Oh, so I could play as my frog, because I'm all about frogs of late. Okay, my biggest con are the classes. Now, this isn't old school D&D. This isn't white box. This isn't a retro clone. In the first edition, there were warriors, rogues, and mages. And I think for a modern role-playing game, you gotta give me more than just that. Now, they did add this envoy, which I do like. I do like non-combat focused characters. They are skilled in negotiation, social skills, and working with or leading others. That's probably what I would play. I would be excited to play that. But in a modern game, you gotta give me more. I know D&D cheats a little bit with like wizard, sorcerer, and warlock. Like those are all magic users, but they have a different focus. I get it. At the end of the day, they are spellcasters. You could lump them into one. So there's probably more depth here than I'm giving it credit for, especially at my just quick start surface level glance here. But I think there should be more. Okay, special thing called talents. Characters also have talents, giving them specific benefits based on natural aptitude or specialized training. Talents come in 3 degrees: novice, expert, and master. The pre-generated characters' talents, their degree with each, and their benefits are explained on their character sheets, so we will go over that. Weapons and weapon groups. Weapons in Fantasy Age are broken into weapon groups. Characters are listed as trained in certain weapon groups on their character sheets. If you are trained in a weapon group, you can use its weapons normally. If you are untrained, it's -2. The character sheets. Okay, yeah. Armor. Armor in Fantasy Age has an armor rating, which subtracts from the damage inflicted by an attack. Certain attacks, however, inflict penetrating damage, which ignores armor rating. Armor also has an armor penalty, representing its bulk and weight. If you are untrained in wearing a type of armor, its armor penalty applies to both your speed and dexterity. That all makes sense. That's good. One thing I don't know is if attacks always hit. I feel like if armor is armor reducing, then it probably is. Unlike the new Daggerheart, which is small attacks don't hit, but big attacks do, but then your armor reduces. I think Daggerheart's going to be pretty successful. Magic points. Each mage character has a magic points score, measuring how much magical energy they have available to cast spells. When you successfully cast a spell, you pay its cost in magic points. If you don't have enough MP to pay a spell's cost, you can't cast it. And when you have 0 MP left, you can't cast spells at all. You regain magic points by resting 1d6 plus willpower per hour of rest. So my much preferred system, spell slots, I think are clunky. Magic points, very video gamey, but it makes so much sense. Spell power. Each mage has a spell power score, which measures their magical might. Certain spells allow a test against spell power to resist or overcome their effects. Each character's spell power is listed on the character sheets. So here are the classes: warrior, rogue, mage, and envoy. Interesting they give envoy a sword here, because that's not really their shtick. I mean, obviously they will attack. Okay, let's see. Let me jump around here a little bit to... Here we go. So here's a good example of the stunt dice. You roll a 4, 5, 6. There are no doubles, so no stunt points. You roll a 3, 3, and a 6. You get 6 stunt points. Now, I got confused, and I think I would change this example up because I thought, oh, my doubles added up to 6, so I get 6 stunt points. No. It doesn't matter. You got a pair, and your stunt die was 6. So that's why you have 6. Next example here, they have a 6, a 4, and a 4. The 4 on the stunt die pairs with this die, so you get 4 stunt points. Okay? Okay, back up here explaining the rules. Okay. Basic test. To make a basic test, you roll your 3d6 and you try to beat a target number. So here we go. 3d6 plus ability score plus focus bonus plus 2 versus target number. Let's see. 3d6 plus ability score plus focus. So you got to add 3 numbers. All right, if there's an opposed test, sometimes you pit your character's ability against another character's ability. This is called an opposed test. In an opposed test, all parties involved roll tests simultaneously, but rather than comparing their results to a target number, the character with the highest total wins the test. If there's a tie, the character with the highest stunt die number wins. If it's still a tie, the highest ability score wins, after which you can flip a coin or roll 2 more dice as a tiebreaker. So let's see. But rather than comparing their results to a target number, you can compare them to each. So that makes total sense. All right, advanced tests. A task might be so complicated or time-consuming that it is inappropriate to resolve it with a single roll. Examples include doing in-depth research, navigating through difficult conditions, or competing with another speaker or performer to win a crowd's approval. These situations involve an advanced test. Advanced tests are basic or opposed tests that require a series of rolls before success can be achieved. Each individual roll is carried out like a basic or opposed test. So this is, I think, like a skill test that MCDM's got a whole episode on. On a sufficient roll, one that meets the target number or exceeds the opponent's result, the result of your stunt die is added to a running total. On an insufficient roll, nothing is added, or your opponent's running total may increase for an imposed advanced test. Success at the advanced test is achieved when the running total meets or exceeds the advanced test's success threshold, which usually ranges from 5 to 20 or more. Each roll takes a certain amount of time, around a minute, an hour, depending on the test. So an advanced test can also be used to determine how long a task takes. Each roll might also consume some number of resources. All right, I like that. It's a fairly common way to do a skills test, but I like that it's laid out. Sometimes I feel like it's just assumed that, well, you roll the dice, so just keep rolling the dice, which you do here, but I feel like it's got a little more meat on the bones. Not much, but I like it. Some actions in Fantasy Age impose consequences or setbacks when characters don't do them well enough. These challenge tests can be thought of advanced tests with added risks. I'm going to skip this because I think it's probably self-explanatory. All right, stunt die. We've talked about it. That's like the heart of the Age games. Fantasy Age, Dragon Age, Modern Age. Stunts. We're going to show you charts. All right. Damage. I want to see if attacks always hit. Most dangerous things do damage, which is measured in the number of points subtracted from the character's health score. Damage is typically rolled on one or more dice, which are totaled up. Armor rating reduces damage unless it is penetrating. Any remaining damage is subtracted from the character's health. A character who reaches 0 health is defeated. They take on a defeated condition of the attacker's choice or the game master's choice if the defeat was caused by a character, hazard, trap, or other circumstances controlled by the GM. Okay. Let's see. They got a what? Defeated. All right. Does it say what defeated is here? Well, they don't say it. Read it again. Any remaining damage is subtracted. A character who reaches 0 health is defeated. They take on a defeat condition. Well, let's see if we can control F. Defeat. Oh, I missed it. Okay. So I just saw defenseless. I just saw dying. But then on the other side of the heading is a special. This one is a dying condition. I got it. Okay, so you can be dying, you can be helpless, you can be unconscious. Okay. All right. How healing works. All right, here we go. How combat works. Let's see. Okay, initiative. At the beginning of a combat encounter, each character rolls an opposed test using dexterity. Rather than one character winning, however, all combatants Test results are ranked in order from highest to lowest. Combatants then take their turns in that order. Ties are broken the same way as other opposed tests. Rather than one character winning, however, all combatants tests. So I think like D&D, the higher you roll, the sooner you go. Okay. Actions. On their turn, a character may take one major and one minor actions if the player wishes. However, their character may take two minor actions instead. The most common major and minor actions are listed here, but other specialized actions are detailed in the Fantasy Age Core rulebook. Yeah, so this is where I was kind of like, well, I'm not really getting the full experience, so why waste my money on buying the full book? Like, spells are right here. I could be doing so much more cool stuff, but I'm just limited. Well, dip your toes in the water. All right? Get your head out of your butt. Major actions. You can defend, you can heal, you can melee attack. So, this is a close range attack on an adjacent opponent with a weapon such as a fist, knife, or sword. Roll a basic test of fighting and the appropriate focus for the attack with a TN equal to the opponent's defense. If the test succeeds, roll the attack's damage. Got it. Okay. Ranged attack uses dexterity. Yeah, okay. You can run, which is double movement, I assume. Stunt attack. You focus on performing a specific stunt. Roll an attack as usual. A successful attack awards you 2 stunt points. Oh, a successful attack awards you 2 stunt points, but the attack itself inflicts no damage. If you roll doubles, you earn stunt points equal to the stunt die result, or 2 stunt points, whichever is greater. You can choose a stunt that damages your opponent, but the basic attack still does no damage. Oh, interesting. Okay. Minor actions. Activate. Use a device. Aim. You carefully plan your attack, gives you 1 to the attack roll. That's cool. Guard up, +1 to your defense. Move, prepare, ready. I like these minor actions. Those are sort of kind of like interact with object in D&D, I feel like. I like that they're spelled out as options. Casting spells. Okay, good. Yeah, this art here is really good. There was some art that's good. Yeah, this art, these characters, didn't do it for me. Okay. What do we got here? Oh, I've never, because I'm not the most experienced DM out there at all. I've never understood these like encounter. Well, I guess okay, attitudes. When players meet a PC, or excuse me, an NPC, I just always assume that the GM is like, they know who this is. They've got a whole story for them, so we know if they're hostile or not. But I guess if you're playing total sandbox, there's this whole world that I didn't know about that you can roll to get their demeanor. That's interesting. I think that's a real old school thing to do. Okay, they give you a player reference sheet. I think any respectable modern game needs to have a 1-page, maybe 2-page sheet for it. I think it should be character sheet on one side and rules on the other. I think that's the perfect way to do it. Yeah, these. Let's see. Does it say that the player reference? Player reference is 1, 2. Oh, I'm blind. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pages? I don't like that at all. All right, conditions. Like, they don't need to know the conditions. That's the GM's job. Ability scores, yeah, they should know that. Okay, let's just go over some stunts here. Again, this is the main crux of this. You are getting stunt points. You are stunting or critting, we'll say, very frequently, much more frequently than just a D20, which is a 5% chance. Let's see. Percent chance. Chance of doubles on 3 dice. And a 1/6 chance. And a 1 in 6 chance of rolling double. Okay. What is the chance of rolling doubles in 3 6-sided dice? The answer I have is 1 in 24. Well, that's more than 1 out of 20. So probability of the event is 9 divided by 5 divided by 12. 5 divided by 12. Less? Statistically less? What? That blows my mind. What is the chance of rolling doubles in 3? Really? 1536. 15. That's still. What? That's crazy to me. Well, now I know. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, when you do crit 4% of the time. Wait, hang on. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay. It's almost 10 o'clock. I record these too late. And just in general, I'm dumb. Okay. No. 1 divided by 20. 0.05, 5%. Here you are getting some sort of crit we'll round up 42% of the time. My mind couldn't fathom that, and now it makes sense. I'm just dumb. So 42% of the time you are earning stunt points. Now that stunt dice is only 1, and so that's kind of the randomness of or luck of, am I going to get a lot of stunt points or not a lot? So let's see. And the lower the stunt points, the less powerful it is, essentially. So let's just go over a couple of these here. Boost. You gain a +1 per stunt point spent on your first test on your next turn. Okay. Turn stunt points into higher rolls. Good. Rapid reload. You can immediately reload a missile weapon as a free action. Right. Knock prone. You and your opponent must make an opposed attack roll. If you win the test, you knock your enemy prone as the condition. A 5. Lethal blow. You inflict an extra 2d6 damage with your attack. A spell stunt. If you cast a spell. Let's see. Increase the spell power of your spell by 1 per stunt point spent to a maximum of 3. Spell power. I don't know what spell power is, but essentially we can deduce we're making it more powerful. Skillful casting. Reduce the magic points cost of the spell by 1. This can reduce the MP cost to 0. All right. Mighty spell, add 1d6 damage. Lethal spell, if the spell does damage, one target of the spell takes an extra 2d6. Alternately, all targets of the spell take an additional 1d6. That's stunt 5. Exploration stunts, I forgot about these. Assist, your action helps one of your allies. That ally gets +1 to their next test per stunt point spent. Wariness, you remain alert for the possible consequences of your action. You gain +1 bonus per stunt point spent to the next test to avoid any negative results from your actions. For example, if you use this stunt when breaking into a building, it would apply to hiding from guards you may encounter. 4 stun points. Cover your tracks. You leave no evidence you performed the action, or if possible, that the action was performed at all. Your successful roll becomes the target number of tests to uncover what happened. Well, I like that. That's cool. Social stunts. Let's do taunt. 2 skill points. You insult or distract one opponent of your choice within 10 yards of you. You must make an opposed test of your communication deception versus the target's willpower or self-discipline. If you win, the target suffers a -1 penalty to all opposed tests until the end of the current social encounter, or until they successfully taunt or undermine you. If used in combat, the target suffers a -1 penalty on attack rolls and casting rolls on their next turn. Okay. I like that it's not just combat focused. I know in D&D, you cannot crit for skills. It's only for combat. And at my tables, we do rule that you can crit for skills, but it's not, like, okay, damage is double damage. It's more like you get more information, or whatever you were trying to do, you just get a little bonus to it. I like that there's rules in place for your stunt points. And then I think we get to the pre-made character sheets. So we've got name, ancestry, their background, which I don't know if there's mechanics to that. Talents, specializations, and special features. They don't tell you how to build a character, as far as I know, which is one of the flaws of the quick start guides. So I'm not sure like what comes from their ancestry, what comes from their social class, what comes from their background, what comes from their actual class. But you've got, let's see, a goblin mage with the abilities of Arcane Blast, Arcane Device, Dark Sight, Magic Points, Magic Trainee, Speak and Read. These novices come into play. Their weapons. Stats are all 3s or nothing. Then on the back, here are the spells that we know. Enchant Armor, Enchant Weapon, etc., etc. Magic points. I wish it said how many points each spell cost. That would save us time. We wouldn't have to look it up. But like here, see the spell reference sheet. Why? We got enough space. Put it right here. More information for the characters. Here we have an orc envoy. It says diplomat right here. If you have to put in parentheses next to your class, you probably should have just used diplomat rather than envoy, if you ask me. Okay, he is an envoy. He's coordinate, dark sight, dazzle. As a free action, select one foe who can hear you to dazzle. If your communication is greater than their willpower, you gain +2 to defense. Interesting. Social chameleon. You have 2 social classes and 2 backgrounds that give you additional background benefits already factored into your stats. You second social class and background is lower class or exile. That should probably be your second social class and background is lower class exile. Oh, I bet you I know what they do. They give you your background and ancestry must give you what D&D would call proficiency. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Min is a wild folk warrior, a mariner. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's a subclass. Let's see, because did the orc one have one? Arcane Scholar. Oh, must be a subclass. Interesting. Okay, I take back what I said. I'm learning. I'm human. And let's see. Typical warrior fashion. They've got the least to do. No magic points. Backpack, water skin, traveler's garb. Nice. Pretty boring. We've got Gorath. He's a Drac outsider, rogue pirate. Does he have magic? He should have some. No. Flame breath. Oh yeah, because he's part dragon. Let's see, is that just at will? Gouts of blazing fire erupts from your mouth, burning nearby targets. The flame blast is 8 yards long and 2 yards wide. That seems like oddly specific. Anyone hit by the blast takes 2d6 plus 1. Targets that make a successful dexterity test versus your spell power only take 1d6 plus 1. Interesting. So looking at... Oh, and they have a pistol? Oh, guns are in here? I didn't know that. So... Here you get +3 to the attack roll. You don't get a bonus here. So this is like higher risk, higher reward. That makes sense. Because I was going to say, well, why did you just cast this flame breath all the time? But you don't get a bonus to attack. All right. Spell reference sheet. Game Master section. Okay, so it does come with an adventure. Terror of the Ghost Ship. I have not looked at this at all. But I think a ghost ship is pretty good for a first-time adventure. I think anytime you have an enclosed space, that's really good for beginners. I know when I was first learning, I didn't know what I didn't know, and you're overwhelmed by choice. And so if you're on a ship, the problem will easily present itself. And so let's just say that's a problem. And C is solving the problem. Your B is limited in what you can do. It's made pretty obvious what you have to do. Okay, map, ghost ship. This art was pretty cool. I thought it's like a parrot with hooves. It was good. Nice dark art here. These guys with their stomach / claw marks. That was good. Art is really good. The art was not good on this boat, though. Okay, I don't need to go through the adventure. It's bloody. And that's going to take us to... Well, okay, let's look at a enemy stat block. So they all have 9 stats. They've got speed, health, and defense. So that's like armor score. You got to roll higher than that. Favorite stunts is skirmish. Do I know what skirmish does? Let's see if I can find it on here. Skirmish. Yep, there it is. You can move yourself or the target of your attack 2 yards in any direction. Yep, okay, good. I would hate that it lists that, but... or mentions it, but doesn't tell you what it does. Great. And... I think that's a pretty... If you come from D&D, I think it's totally easy to understand. Okay, what is in the official book? Simple character creation, heroic stunts, mighty magic, so there must be, let's see, mixing and matching the 19 arcana gives the mage class a huge amount of flexibility. To get started, choose 2 arcana like beast, cold, death, earth, fate, fire, healing, protection, mind, and shadow. That seems pretty sweet. Game Master Guidance, customizable rules. Let's see what this says. The GM can use optional rules for the campaign to better reflect the setting. Choices include the twin systems of peril and daring, which allows for dramatic swings from disadvantage to advantage as the tension builds. Horror rules can give the campaign a sinister turn. The fortune system turns health into a combination of resilience and luck that can influence outcomes. Interesting. Comes with an adventure, The Stranger Shores, Breakaway Bay, and so much more. So, for me, takeaways, I like this better than D&D for the spellcasting magic points. I like that you are critting way more often. Let's see, math is hard, especially this late. 7, 8 times more often ish. I think that's super cool. I wish they had more classes. I wish I had a better look at the list of spells, but I don't know. I sound probably pretty mid on this. It is something I would want to check out. I don't think I would want to run, but I would want to be a player for this. Why do I say I don't want to run it? It doesn't necessarily do enough for me that excites me. I'd rather use a system that I know, or I guess, to be honest, Daggerheart. I'm pretty pumped on Daggerheart with the fear mechanic and how GMs get a boost from that. So I think that's super cool. But Fantasy Age, I think those stunts are cool. If you're doing it way more often, it's more exciting for the players. So I definitely think Fantasy Age should exist, and I think you should check it out too. So go find a quick start guide. Let's go back here. Quick start. Battle Force, never heard of it. but it's free. I should check it out. Shadowrun, heard of it, never checked it out. I should check out the quick start. Battletech, A Time of War. Can I get? Is there a Warhammer one? Oh, Symbaroum? Yeah, I should do that. Symbaroum's an excellent example because I'm excited about Symbaroum, but not enough to necessarily go and buy the whole set of books. I know they just came out with like a 5th edition version. I wouldn't want that, but the quick start is something I'd check out. And these quick starts are nice. I don't have this problem because it's not like I've got a big group of friends that play, but if you play in a regular group and you've got that problem where like, oh, 1 or 2 people can't play this week, so do we just cancel it? It's like, no, let's download the quick start guide. Most of them come with an adventure. It pre-made characters, so there's not a lot of setup time. I think they're great for one-shots. I think that's their intended purpose, but I'm a dummy for not giving quick starts the just do that they should have. I want the new Warhammer version. I forget what it's called, and I'm not gonna waste your time trying to find it here. But go find a quick start guide, read it, take things from it, take the stunts. If you are playing a game that uses a D6 system, absolutely do that. And I think I might even start implementing that. I've got my super simple role-playing game system that I've got posted on Drive-Thru RPG, and it's if you roll a 6, then you get to roll 6 again, and then you get like an added effect based on that. But I should really do doubles. I think that would be exciting. Yeah, interesting. It's such an expansive, vast hobby, and just the amount of detail and uniqueness that each game and system has. You piece it all together, steal from here, and it's just so cool. I love it. So thanks for coming along. Download a quick start guide. Keep being creative. See you in the next episode. Later.